Yeah.
How you feeling, Mr. Matthew?
Dude, did you see that breakfast I ate yesterday?
Yeah.
I ate.
Yeah. I ate that in here. I went home and had like 2 massive like ham sandwiches. Came back and saw it. I had dinner last night was like Cuban marinated like steak. I was like, $5,600 like top one. I polished about 3,500. Oh man, the picture did not do justice to the size of that biscuit. It's so good. It's so good. It was everything I wanted in life. Hey, live your best life, man. Right. Right. Yeah, I was definitely uncomfortable like about 30 minutes after I ate it. But it was just like one of those, like I was wired for a little bit, and then I ate, and then like 30 minutes after, it was, oh, we have food, you should go to bed now. I was trying to have a conversation with someone, like sugar crash, like I was like, yeah, I was on the table with Abby, like massage, and I'm pretty sure halfway through the conversation I fell asleep. And she's working on her shoulder talking to me, and I'm just like, all right, guys, let's go shadow boxing. Move around a little bit. Give yourself a little space. Get your feet moving. Let's get warm. Embarrassing you. People that are all more than 25 years older. Yeah, great. Yeah. I think anything that involves that. Pretty much fire. Nice work. 1 more minute. I remember when I was 2004, when I was trying to skate, they for the first time we took combo, not the actual class, it was the first time in 49 years they had canceled the class, and we still fucking went out. We just walked the park instead. First day of class. Good. Head up and down. Leave saying yes. And if that's how they say no.
I'm gonna bring you closer to us. Bring Luke into the fold.
Take your shoulder, roll back. on the knees. Painful, weird, or just awkward?
Just awkward.
Yeah.
My knees just touch everybody.
Yeah, it's great. That's how we get moving. Good. And then last but certainly not least, hands on the ground, pedal your heels. Yours are just like a sit grind now. No. Well, Charlotte, yeah. Not even release some tension. Alright, so we're dealing with partner. Let's go like Josh pretty good together. Hands and staff, and you can follow your guys. Josh, you don't have to. Alright. So we're going to start with some basic exercises. Headlock. We talked about headlock specifically. There's a couple of things that whether you like it or not, you're going to get into the wrestling aspect. Right? So we're going to start with a head clear. Whether you've done these or not, you get the hold of me. He's got the ripper in the half all the time. His hands in the back of my head, his elbows down top like that. Okay? What I'm doing is I'm taking this outside shoulder and I'm going to elevate the shoulder so it's high enough to hit the elbow, and I'm going to start to turn to the inside. So put a little pressure on. While I'm doing that, I turn to rotate and stretch that grip and start to hold on my head. So one of the last little pieces of the puzzle is I'm going to look over my opposite shoulder to allow the finger to feel on the backside there. Now, realistically, you do it quick, right? So it's very aggressive and I'm punching it kind of through. But that's the premise of it. I stand here, my shoulder moves forward and across. What's the leverage that I want in my hand? My head turning removes the last little bit of tension off the finger. Right, and then you get back to the right leg. So he's going to grab with his right arm. I'm going to turn, twist, look. He's going to grab with the left, turn, twist, look. Right, and I'm going to go vice versa. Bang, bang, turn, twist, look. Bang, turn, twist. Okay. 2 for 2. Left arm, right arm, switch, left arm, right arm.
So ideally, you're going to get inside.
Yes and no. Like this is very similar to what we talked about we did last week, right? So we're doing our head clear. What I do next depends on A, what I like to do, B, what he's giving me, and then C, contact, right? Like if this is a situation where he's got a knife in that hand, right? I'm trying to get clearance off of this, you know, work from the outside, be controlled, and if this is like somebody, even if you're grab the back from here, it says moving forward. The same exact thing here. I'm not sure. Right? Just clear them off. If I like wrestling, or if I decide that if I'm with Maverick somewhere, right? If I'm with Maverick, I decide like, you know, I can't just run away. I need to go do something that takes for him. Then I make something clear. This how you move arm running down the ground. So context dependent, really, but is that option? Okay. Start slowly if you've never done it. If you have done it, you can go right into the also the back and forth. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3. So Luke, right? Same thing. You're just mimicking it. I got him on the outside here. The big thing. I want to make sure you're stepping in as you go to do it. So if I'm going to clear to the left, bang, I'm going to actually step in. I'm going to clear to the right. Bang, I'm going to actually step in. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah, good. And then one thing that's going to help you, right, is that you actually want to stay right. So instead of being here, so those of you who elbows, and then you're going to run, my elbows will fly right off where you did. Realistically, you moving in, it's actually like 100. That's the rest of the inside. Okay.
Yeah. So that's first. Right here. I feel like
yeah, you can literally even walk through it or step in. Good. You want that front foot forward?
It's going to depend, right? Like realistically, from a grappling perspective, I keep my feet exactly where they're at.
Okay.
But like think about the way that we grapple anyway, right? If I'm squared up to somebody, so if I'm fighting somebody and I'm going to move to this side, right? So they're grabbing me here, and I'm going to clear. I can technically clear here. My feet can even stay where they're at.
Okay.
Anyway, if I was grappling somebody coming to this side, I'd want to go right foot forward, right? If I was grappling and coming to this side, I'd want to be left foot forward. So long story short, like if they grab me on this side and I clear this way, I can clear with this foot back, but I'm eventually going to want to step up into them anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You got my hat on. Aggressive. Yes. Punch the shit out of the arm with your shoulders. Yeah. Yes. Time. Okay, so look. When we look at front headlock, okay, so just to give you guys a definition, we're going to look at all three of the headlocks really brief today. I think there's been a test coming up. We have 2 tests in class today. So when we're going to look at this is a front headlock, right? Or a PNC setup, and how you look at it, right? This is a side headlock, fully headlock, headlock, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to the side headlock, side of the headlock, right? And then rear headlock, here, also known as rear leg choke or on choke, all those techniques, right? Headlock, I have locked his head in between my arms. Headlock, right? In front of me, front headlock, side to side headlock, rear headlock. So, a couple of things coming to headlocks to look at. First and foremost, what's the immediate danger? In a rear headlock and a front headlock, it's your throat and choking and breathing, all that good stuff, right? In a side headlock, it's not so much. There's really no choke from a side headlock, right? So if I have him in this perspective, there's really no way to choke him. Okay, I shouldn't say no way. It's not as obvious as front side or front back. Okay. So we have a very fast, immediate danger from the front and the back. We have a secondary danger from the side, which is what? Or taking him off balance and throwing him on the floor. Both of those suck, right? So I want to know what the danger is. In both, or in all three cases, the hand around my head fucking sucks, right? So I want to start addressing the arm, keeping my balance, okay? And then obviously working to a place where the fight plus. Let's give you the context there. So the reason we're starting with the head clear is because very rarely, okay, is it natural for us to just dive on a front headlock. Unless you've been trained, right? I love front headlock. I will dive on front headlock. I've been grappling for like 13 years, right? So that makes sense. But it's very rare that somebody's gonna like strategically, with no training, be like kick to the groin, he's following, and dive on the front headlock like this. Usually what ends up happening is I grab your head and I'm pulling it down and I'm setting myself up to get into a full headlock, right? Which usually is the ideal. So if he grabs my head to pull me into a front headlock, I can mitigate the front headlock by addressing the arm before they're active. Okay. So we're gonna do a really, really simple drill. I'm gonna grab his head and I'm gonna pull him into the other arm. Okay. For those of you who've been working on front headlocks this week for BJJ, so this may look a little common. I'm pulling him into the far side. Right? Even if I wanted to pull him into the same side, and you go here, I would still start with a half collar. I would still start with that same exact grabbing of the head and pulling it to the side. Whether I go to my right armpit or my left armpit. Okay? So at about 50% pace, like this pace, I'm going to reach, grab, pull to my head. Before I'm able to accomplish that, I want you to head clear out. Bad guy, that's the bad guy's mindset. Grab him and get up on the top. Grab him and get up on the top. Okay? So before that actually happens, he's going to clear out. And now we turn into just a fight as opposed to having to fight out the dangerous choke. Make sense? That's all we're going to do. We're going to go 1 for 1 with that. So I'm going to stand in front of him. I can reach with my left arm and pull. I can reach with my right arm and pull. But in my mind, I'm grabbing his head, pulling down his front headlock. In your mind, you should be mitigating that before that happens. Make sense? 1 for 1, smooth and easy. It was looking pretty good. You big things up. But only if it's looking really good. Okay? How about 3 for 1? Right? So same, very similar to what we were doing Tuesday night, Luke. You're gonna mimic a lot of this. So I want you to be neutral
act like somebody pulled you forward and clear the shoulder out to the outside.
Okay.
Cool.
So like.
Yep.
Like that.
Right. Take that full angle out to the outside. Beautiful.
Okay.
Good. If you end up in a headlock, that's fine. We're gonna get there next. Okay. Don't let it happen again. This is how we learn. Yes. Beautiful. Good. 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 Make it fast. Like the second he grabs you, Brittany, go back up. The second he grabs you, right? You're gonna don't completely clear his hand. You're gonna affect him a lot more if I'm not. So the second he grabs you, you shoot your shoulder and turn your body as fast as possible. Yeah. All right. Oh, tattoo? Right. Oh. How's that? Okay, cool. Yeah, so that really. Turn your head. Turn your head. Those medals? Yeah, those are all medals that our members and our staff. You have a lot, so it's good to celebrate the win, buddy. All right. So next is the puzzle. We're going to do a little more briskly through a lot of these because, again, I want to be able to highlight them today, take some pieces from it, and then we'll build on them later. I want to do all three today with everybody coming through. So, okay, we're going to look at 3 stages of this. The first one is before he ever gets it, gets up. So he grabs on my head, and I clear it before it ever becomes a problem. Okay, cool. Now we're going to fight, right? So the next stage is going to be he gets my head down, he starts going, but he hasn't got his hands yet. Okay, so we're going to approach 2 answers from this. One of them is again, with wrestling base, understanding how to control hands. The other one is what you would what you would typically see as like a Krav Maga or self-defense. The second one, the self-defense technique, will apply before he grabs his hands or after he grabs his hands. So we can take that in there. Right? So the first one we're going to look at is really simple. He pulls my head down, okay? For him to lock this choke in, right, he needs to keep me squared up. So very similar to what we did on the head clear, where I rolled my shoulder and turned to the outside. I can literally do the same thing, even from a front headlock, okay, if I get a hold of it. So as the hands come to grab, I'm going to get a hold of this arm and watch. I'm going to step out, roll my head down and through, and end up on the outside foot, okay? Because for him to keep me underneath, he needs my head to be stuck under his armpit and then here his throat, or my throat. So if I get a hold, preferably somewhere near the wrist, somewhere near the elbow, I can actually step this out and around, and I simply just roll my head as I turn my shoulder. The shoulder being the most important part, because again, smaller individual against somebody larger, I want to use as much of my body against their arms as possible, right? So the bigger you're going to be able to get away with strategy. It's back, right? You strength when it does work. So as I come through, he's going to pull my head in. I'm going to grab his arms, and I'm going to look. Step, pivot, and I'm going to roll my head to my shoulders. And go ahead. Grab the hand. Step to the outside. Pull your head. Make sense? Start really slow with this. This is like kind of a new movement. Probably most people. Okay? 1 for 1. Grab your head, pull it down, then grab the wrist, set it down. 1, 2, 3. Good. So again, Luke, same thing. They're going to pull you. I go into here. Pick a side they're working on. So if they're pulling on the right side, I go here, and I'm just going to step, pivot, and roll my head. It's just this little, like almost treat it like a bob and weave. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
So the different colored straps, they're just different competitions. So each competition has like a different version. Yeah. So it's the other side of the front headlock. You're gonna have it here. Here you go. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know that short.
Yes. Nice. Good. Yes. Good. Good. Nice. Nice. Good. So quick adjustment, right? Because everybody's got the basic footwork and the basic movement going. We're going to tighten this up. Okay. If we were doing specifically front headlock, we would go to breaking down the front headlock, deep seeing exactly how it comes through, all that good stuff, right? We're going to mitigate and go get some of that, but I want you guys to understand the piece of how this works, right? So for him to finish this, he wants his elbow to come down through. He wants to compress, and he wants to then be able to like press my head down while he pulls his arm up. Okay? So if you look, imagine I have somebody's head and neck right through here. Okay? I'm trying to pull the elbow down again. I'm trying to bring my hand as deep across as possible. Okay? And then I'm trying to pull this up while I keep this down. So now, if I want to deconstruct that, I want the elbow to go up, back, so that it opens and flares, right? And then we're going to step pivot and pull it out. So the reason I'm telling you that is, if we get to here and I step backwards with this, he can stay in the same position. He can continue to push this arm through and grip my neck. So it's super fucking counterintuitive, but I actually want to step in. So I actually want to go this way. You see what it does with his elbow? Right? This is where he finishes the choke. This is where it makes it a little harder. He's going to have to readjust. So when I make my step pivot, I'm actually going in. Okay? This allows me to use my body to control. It allows me to manipulate the position of the elbow. Okay? So again, it's like a lot of the intuitive responses when you choke that actually screws you over. When we get into the rear naked choke, it's very intuitive to go away, but you actually choke yourself by going into the throat. So again, it's the force of it. It's relatively complicated. So when he gets a hold of my head and I go to grab, okay, I want to drive my head in and up, and I want to step in and up. It's going to make it a little bit harder for him to finish for a half a second, mind you. Because all he has to do is then just turn the pivot, adjust, and pull that back in. So that's why it's so important once I get here, step pivot, wall. And look where I'm at. I'm hugging this thing. If you know how to wrestle, if you're comfortable in wrestling positions, then yes, you can go like 2-on-1 after. If you're not comfortable in wrestling position, just push his arm away, punch him in the head, and kick him the ball. Right? Like, start to do real quick. So what this fix is, I'm going to pull the arm to me, and I'm going to step to him. Like that. Move in on it. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes.
No, it's gonna be another table.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Nice.
You got little feelings right
Nice. Yeah, right there. It's you. Nice.
That's that.
Beautiful. What do you got there, buddy? I like it.
We're gonna get down.
Yeah. 30 seconds.
again, there's two answers to this, and again, it's context dependent. It's also what makes you a little more comfortable. Some of it's going to come into play with like how deep the choke is by the time you start essentially unlocking yourself. Right? So when we get into this position, one is to go out. But going out really only works if I catch it before he gets able to lick his hand. Okay? Or if while he goes to lick his hands, I eventually get it free. Right? You have to have his hands apart. If I don't, what you're going to do, his hands are already together super tight, you're just going to pull him on top of you and it's just going to make it, right? It is a great option because it puts me in a squared up neutral fight, and it also lends itself a little bit more to what we naturally want to do, which is get the fuck away from each other, right? The next one has its own counterintuitiveness because we're going to double down on that go in, mentality, right? So now, the second he gets a hold of my head, I'm going to do the same step that I did before, but instead of pivoting out, I'm literally going to run my hips in and pull my head up. Yeah, it is super important that my head goes up and my ear stays into his shoulder. If you half-ass this and just step in with your hips, you're still broken in the spine. So it's up and over. Okay? This far side hand is holding on to him just to create leverage. Okay? Now here, I'm going to look over his shoulders and just reach around his back. Okay? Again, get me out of the choke. What I want to do from there, again, it's context that you like wrestling, you feel confident in wrestling, you prefer hitting people, awesome. So, is this a weapons thing? So he grabs on my head, I immediately step in and look up. Technically, yes. Can I throw this arm? Sure. If you really want to. Yeah. But what matters is, if I break posture here, he can just put his arm right back around my head. So what matters is, when I step and I look up, I continue to look up, and more importantly, I start to look across his back. Now the threat's on. Now, if he wants to turn back into me, yes, if you make an effort to turn back into me, but it's not a choke threat. Okay? You can still elbow me, put your hands up, right? But I've got myself out of the choke. So now, where we did it without him, where we did this and then pivot out this way, now we're going here, and then I'm stepping around him again. All right, I'm stepping through that. Makes sense? With this, it's not necessary, so possible, it's not necessary to get the arm. I'm talking about it. So he grabs onto my head, I'm going to step in, it's not necessary for me to have like a huge grip on this. Okay? Okay? Now what's beautiful about this is, let's say he does counter, and he starts to step back and reposture. Right? So the two work complementary together. Because what he's going to have to do to reassess the choke is going to open up my ability to get my head out. So I got to off. Okay? So let's just work this. He's going to grab my head. He's going to pull me. I'm going to run in. I am literally, no matter how you want to look at it, right? Give me the old match mic, put it on full. Right? I'm looking up, head over. From here, if you want to clear the arm, you can clear the arm. So this is what matters. Right? United States Army. That's what I'm looking at. Okay? Cool. Turn the corner. That's all I want to see. You want to hit it backwards, you can hit it backwards. I really want you to see break down that line. Make sense? Questions? All right. Right. So, right, you get it, get pulled in, act like you're holding the hook.
Okay.
Head up and in, hips in, and then turn the corner.
Okay.
Yes. Beautiful. What's up, dude? And now so we used to do, and it's not necessarily that so this is the old probably what it was when I go here, I'm turning my back. So that by the time I make my turn, if I were to lose control of this, she can make her turn as well. So when she goes here, this allows me to stay in a more advantageous position, and it also works against if I have a smaller space. Whereas, like, if I want to step through this way and they're strong, I can't do that. But if they're strong and they still hold this, I can literally just grab, even if they have hands and belt, and I can just do this until they decide, like, okay. And at some point in time, she'll head. So the other ones aren't wrong. This is. Yeah, you're gonna have a higher likelihood of being strong.
All wound up.
What's up, man?
That's cheating.
Nice. Nice. Good. Nice. Beautiful. Is that okay on my shoulder?
Yeah, as long as we're not grinding, it's always that's good.
Awesome. Awesome. Fine, good. So look, movement-wise, you look great. So once again, let's just do one thing to tighten it up, and then we'll tie this whole little thing together. So it grabs on the back of my head, boom, and I go here. This, watch the angle on this. This works. Okay? My head is up, my hips are in. Okay, so I made it difficult for him to reposture. Even more so if I've got a hold of him somehow. Okay, this, I usually go to this because it's more easier to get here. Right? If I switch my hand down, you can extend the arm down. That said, if I can get to here, you can but that involves an extra step. Okay? But this works. What is going to allow this to be even better? Watch. Okay, so I'm actually going to keep my ear on him the whole time. Right? And this starts to lend itself to me doing what? Turning the corner and looking. When I'm here, my body wants to go this way. Right? I want to rotate around him. Right? He's the center of my ear. So when I'm in this position, I'm looking here. This takes even more pressure on his shoulder. Makes it a little more awkward for him to get this to the path to where he would want it. And more importantly, when he releases, right where you're over. Okay, I can use the pressure he's giving me to continue to stay on his back. If I stay off of his head and he releases his arm, he can turn his elbow back way. Okay? So hug him in tight, get your ear to them, and then you pretty much ride that the whole entire way. Tighten that up for about 1 minute, all right? 1, 2, 3. Sunny. Oh, you need to know? Okay. Well, we'll have to get on for you.
You sure about that?
Yes. Yes. Good. Good. Oh, here come That's good.
Oh, there it is. Entertainment going at this point. Do you care if I do? Whatever works. So definitely got me.
Nice. Good. All right. So here's what I want. Last piece of the puzzle. Okay. Striking is an option from here, right? Now, it's a low line, so we do have access to the groin. Technically, he's really hunched over and elbow in the head. So a little bit more of a far reach to really like elbow to face, but it does happen. So he grabs onto my head, boom, he gets down here. Okay? For him to finish this choke, he needs to run his hips in. One really good and effective way to keep some of his hips out, right, is to snap in the groin. That was nice. That was his style. Right? Scared the shit out of him, right? Right here, but look what happened to his head when I did that. Went down. So this is where that elbow is at. Point. Possibly. Right? We usually use it as like a ping pong effect. Like two of them together. Right? Which is what I would do anyway if I wanted to do so. Directing the elbow. But really what I'm trying to do is break his posture so I can get the guy to choke. Right? That's the most important part of that solitaire thing. So he grabs a hold of my head. I'm a lot lighter now, but he had to boom. What is this allowing me to do? Get my head up, get my hips in, and keep him broken down.
Now from here, I get to choose whether I want to go that way or whether I want to step out and go this way. Either way works for me. I'm okay with both, right? If one doesn't work, immediately turn into the other one. The other one doesn't work, immediately turn into the other one. Yeah. It's literally like, you know what I mean? But that's like wrestling, especially if you watch like stand up and beat your chair. That's what it is. So he pulls. Oh, wow. Okay? And here, look, if his arm is super far around me and he keeps committing to this, just keep crawling around his body. Okay? So let's go 1 for 1 with this. Listen, tell me all the time. You get the effect you want. Fucking stiff palm right to the inner thigh. Get the effect you're looking for. Yeah, it doesn't take much. So boom, stiff palm in the inner thigh. Either walk in or walk out. I don't care what you do. 1 for 1, let's run this for a minute, and then we're going to do on side and block, which is pretty much the same as that headlock. Cool. Count 3. 1, 2, 3. Same thing, buddy. Keep your head pulled in. Boom. Step and turn or step out. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good. Stay into it. You got through, and your hips were kind of out. Like this. Yeah, I want to stay square to him the whole time. And so if I rotate around him, this is in my mindset. I'll rotate. Good. Nice. Good.
And then I have your arm back for some reason. It just doesn't want to.
Yes.
Yeah, here. And then you got me on the floor.
Yes. Time. Beautiful. All right. Question. Right. When in doubt, big one. All right. But listen, I tell you this all the time. You're more likely to get a physical reaction out of a groin strike, as opposed to the way most people look at it, where it's like groin strike is playing it. That's not the case. I can tell you from personal experience over almost 13 years of full-fledged punches, elbows, knees, and kicks straight to the groin, no cut. Right? It gives a big reaction out of you. Oftentimes it'll knock the wind out of you. But if their intention, and you spend any time taking hits, it just pisses you off. You know what I mean? It genuinely does. Like, it'll put you back. Like, even in sparring, sometimes you actually get kicked. After a while, you're just like, oh. But in that moment where it happens, I don't care who you are, you take that hit, you're going to do this. So you have to take advantage of that moment and knock them over. So you keep that on. Okay, so side headlock. Front headlock, right? He's facing in this way, so the anatomy of the choke is different. We're face to face. Rear headlock and side headlock are torso and face in the same direction, right? So it's a different style, different position. Even on his back, we're facing the same direction. So these two are damn near identical without one extra step. Okay, rear headlock and side headlock. Front headlock is its own monster. It has similar mechanics, but it's its own monster. So we're going to talk side headlock because if you understand that that's a side headlock, one of the easiest ways to get a rear headlock is to just put yourself in side headlock. Good. So he's going to put me in a side headlock. I'm right here. Okay? Now, there's a lot of things that go into this. I really love this headlock because it can just be very simply approached. Okay? If he's using two hands to hold on to my head, he's not doing anything to protect his groin or his face. So one of the best ways, in my opinion, to shut down his ability to do anything with his headlock is to start punching the balls in the face. So So the second anybody grabs me and pulls me, the first thing I need to do is stay standing, so I balance. Once I get to here, I just start hitting. At some point in time, he has to make a choice. Does he want to continue with the headlock by holding two hands together, or would he like to start defending himself? If he wants to start defending himself, he has to release his hands, or completely turn his back to me. He can keep his hands completely together, and he can turn away. And all of this is going to do is put me in a position to control him that. Guys, now he's giving me his posture and his back, which is never going to be the other head. Okay? So the pulls me side headlock is where we're going to start. I'm forward, my weight's in, I'm making sure I don't fall. So that's the first place I'm going to go to balance. And then I work my way from wherever I'm at. So if the first thing that I can see is his inner thigh, then I start hitting the inner thigh. As I start standing up and getting more, I'm bringing my hips in, my chest up, and I'm working my way to his head. Now from here, you got one of two choices. I can step out, or if his head is up and he's worried about defending, this is a perfect time to just shut out of that and not going to punch back. You know what you do? Because I don't know how he reacts. So that's all that's going to happen. Slowly, carefully, obviously. He grabs onto my head, pulls me off balance. I'm going to hit. And look, what does this look like? Same thing we just did. Hips in, chest up. Okay? I can go this way. Or if I want to get rid of him, okay, notice, same position we were before. Right? It's just hip position, holding posture. I'm going to push my shoulder forward, and I'm going to cut my head back. Boom. Boom. Okay? Play around with it, slow, smooth, and steady. One for one. Top on three. 1, 2, 3. Move forward, boom, boom, all the way up, and then for you, start shucking out the back. You know how to do that, okay? What's up, man? What's the rule? Anything you think I can go back? He's very slow. Big guy, they might have 3 things. Good. Pull her up. Reach around her hip, shoulder, something. Yeah, so that right arm, latch on to so that can now. Start to sink your head up. Yes, let's hit her face. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. You want to get to this? Yes. Side headlock, he has that choke. Right? So you're sorry, I'm going to punch you at this angle. So I'm less concerned about you. Sure.
Trying to wrist right into the back of the bicep.
So we'll get on. Nice. Yes. Alright, good. So again, you guys understand the motion? It looks pretty good. So let's simply tighten it up. He grabs onto my head. Ooh, I get pulled forward. Okay, it is unnatural for you to not do anything with your hands. Very unnatural, right? So for situations right now where he's pulling you and you're hitting, but this hand is floating back here, that's because you're in training mode. You're not going to do that in real life. Your hands are occupied. We have a huge, one of our major activity responses is to push things away or pull things in. So you're going to do one of two things. Your hands, even if you have no training, are either going to try to push away from it, or they're going to be grabbing onto things to pull. Okay, so that is intuitive, like stretch. Okay, I bring hands in and pull, or I start to try to push danger away. Okay? Well, I'm okay with either. We're just going to tactically use those movements. What I'm not okay with is this arm is floating back here while I'm kind of doing this.
that you're grabbing onto it. Okay, when I grab on, I bring the thumb in, I make the hook, and when I use the hook like a fucking hook, right? Like I'm trying to actually like hang a fucking piece of meat, right? So I'm grabbing onto things and pulling them, and they're not like fully handled. Like this is just like a weak and everything that I'm pulling and ripping on. That's what I'm looking at. So what I'm doing from here is I'm allowing myself to go in and I'm assisting by pulling. And what this also does is shut down a lot of his ability to move and his ability to leverage on my head by actually pulling in. It also really fucks with them. Think about it. You just put somebody in a bully headlock. We talked about this before. There's an assumption of superiority. What is the last thing you expect them to do? Grab you and pull you closer, right? So he's gonna go like, right? So when I get into this, I can push and grab, and even this is good. We do this in our eye control concept stuff. Okay, this is fine. Keeps me getting hit in the head, but it's doing something, right? And as I'm getting him, I am walking my hips in. So even when I go, if I'm gonna go out the back door, I stay in. The second I do this again, I get in the headlock. I'm breaking the headlock by being upright. So when I do if I'm good enough under, watch. I get it with my hips in. Okay. So first piece, grab onto them, pull it in. Second piece, when you go, if you're going to do duck under, stay attached to them while you do the duck under. Okay? Bring it up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Over exaggerated, Luke.
Is it cool if I try it with the punching bag?
What's that?
Like, try it with an actual, like this thing?
Yeah, totally. Fucking grab onto it.
Feels
Start
like,
hug that thing under, like bent over, hit it, boom, boom, and then I want you to run your hips into it. Yes.
yeah.
And then shake out the back and just throw that shit on the floor.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Oh, that's a newer, Nice. 30 seconds. We're going to talk over your headlock. Relatively decent amount of complexity, or at least just there's more things to consider there, right? Rear naked choke and front headlock are dangerous places, very dangerous places. Rear naked choke or side headlock, a little more aggressive, straightforward, hitting it on things. Rear headlock, if I can get there fast enough, I can turn it into a side headlock, and then I can respond the same exact way, right? Because remember we talked about the danger of the rear headlock and the front headlock is air, breath. Conscious. Okay, those both suck. So when we get into this position, the reason that this is working is one of two things. He's either pushing into both carotid arteries on both sides, or he's getting my windpipe. One of two. Okay? Either way, I'm going to mitigate that simply by getting my hips over here and turning my head in. Because now I'm protecting this carotid artery. From the side headlock, the reason he can't choke me is because he can't tighten up the space that's created right here in his chest. So he can squeeze all the fuck he wants right now. It's uncomfortable. But he's not going to get me to choke out. So literally, the very first answer to a karate choke is pull down because this is natural, turn towards him because anytime anybody attacks me, I want to go towards them. And what I'm really trying to do is get my butt over here. So I lean into him, pull down and turn. And now we're right where you were just at. I'm no longer in a threat of a choke. I want to keep him. If he's going to get behind me, or if he's going to choke me, he has to get behind me, right? So he'll have to step out and around, pull my head up, and reset the choke. So once I get out, I'll let him do that. I go in, turn towards him. Hips out. Hold on. Can't get behind me now. Does? That's the first way to answer this, y'all. He grabs on, tuck my chin, grab the hand, turn towards him, and most important, get your hips out. And now from here, latch on and straight. Okay, 1 for 1, nice, slow, and smooth. Let's all stick to one side for today's training. So right on chokes only. Don't come back. Cool. Right? I mean, you know what you're doing. You've been here enough. Grab, lean, hip out, and then finish the same way.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Left arm up around your neck. Good. Yes. Nice. Beautiful. Go Yes. That's for it. Nice. Nice. So real quick, it's already looking good. Real quick, right? Something to consider as we go. Okay. Like there's a level. There's a level where you have to accept that it's okay if this is super tight, as long as it hits them. Right? Now, if I catch it early, obviously early is the best fucking approach. Like, oh shit, okay, I'm not no longer. Now I would still do the same thing. I'd still walk my head out, still turn in, still do the same thing. But I would love that, right? I have enough awareness that I notice something. Oh shit! Stop it before fucking. Oh shit! Right, where you can't choke me, and now what ends up happening? He's probably gonna pull me into a side headlock or a good one. Right, I love it. We're talking in one short time. He's got to choke. So if he links his hands together, and I make no movement, and I stay right here, I've got 3 to 5 seconds for shit to real. Right, okay. So even with that, you go here and choke, full figure 4 grip, right? I turn into him, and my hips around, and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Okay? We have to accept that, right? If we get there and we're like, oh no, you still got my head. Yes, that's okay. Because this is all I need. We need 1 inch of space to allow this fucking thing to start pumping blood back and forth. All that. Even if he's got it real tight, I'm turning in and I'm getting my hips down and around. Once I get here, there's no choke. Bang, bang, bang. And if he's really committed, he's not ready to go. They're just winding everything up. Yes. So here, like aggressive environment. Except that in a moment. How about we little ahead of the game.
I was excited.
Little ahead of the game. Yes. 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 Oh. Okay, so one that's actually going to be a good lesson is gently, right? Just give them that.
And after you need to learn to work from machine that, right? If somebody shorter didn't want to fuck it, especially with the luscious love handle.
Yeah.
You know, first fucking thing I do.
Everybody, gorgeous walks.
Get your shoulder out. Get your yes. Get your left shoulder out around. There you go. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Good. I didn't say yes. Get your shoulder out. Beautiful. Get your shoulder out. There you go. Good. Good. Nice. Good. Time. How we doing? So the beautiful thing about the way we approach everything can also sometimes be, I wouldn't say frustrating, but sometimes it's like, is that we really allow you to make your own choices, right? Based off your skill set, what you like, how you work from there. But we still don't understand the concept. Okay? Front headlock, I want to get his elbow up, and I want to get his hand away from my throat. That's usually going to involve me walking in. Whether I pull my head out and continue to work around him, it still involves me working in, right? Instead of going back. Side headlock, they're not doing much. So just stay on your feet and hit them. Rear headlock, get to a side headlock. Right? If I understand those basic concepts, then what I do after that, I can mess around. I can choose as much as I want. Like again, he's got me in a side headlock. Like if I'm bigger, then I can scoop him up. Like literally just lift his leg off the ground and slam him on his head. There's 1,000 things I can do. Right? Again, rear naked chokes are different up. Right? Different things will happen. But all the basic concept, turn and square up. Okay? We're gonna real quick, 1 minute, 1 for 1, front headlock, side headlock, or rear headlock. Just over and over and over again, work your way through it. That's a good finisher for today. 1 minute. All right? Here we go. Grab the money. You good?
Yeah.
Wait, so fast. And 1 for 1. Go. Practice and rep out, brother. Grab your heavy bag.
Yeah.
Grab your heavy bag and keep working that side headlock. I know you can't do a rear headlock so much, but keep working that side headlock. Yeah. Let's go. Keep working. Let's go. Front headlock, side headlock, rear headlock. Yeah, all right. Get your shoulder out, Ricky. There you go. Good. 40 seconds. Good. And turn. Raise your hand.
You can borrow it.
All right. Question. Especially for my testers. Okay. Right. Especially like heading into a trip on that, right? And then when you're in the testing phase, the testing session, like first couple smooth, slow, technique-wise, and then feel free to explore and play around. The biggest thing is getting hand fighting, manipulating the shoulder, and the side behind you is one thing.
always going to be. I don't take any pressure every time you're going. I'm going to teach some fitnessers. Great work today. Stick around for day. We'll take off in like 24, 5-ish minutes. Luke, I love you. I got to run. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to text you later, buddy.
Okay, later.